Thank you for your interest in the Minnesota Statewide Historic Preservation Plan. As statements of public policy, statewide plans serve as a general guide for decision-making. While the State Historic Preservation Office, commonly referred to as the SHPO, takes the lead in developing the plan, it really is the result of collaboration and input from people and organizations throughout Minnesota. The Preservation Office has kicked off a collaborative planning process that will examine historic resources and preservation practices throughout Minnesota, and will result in an updated statewide historic preservation plan that can be adopted throughout the state so that preservation challenges can be met and overcome at the community and state levels. Minnesota's State Historic Preservation Office is responsible for preparing and implementing a comprehensive statewide historic preservation plan in accordance with 1. Law, based on the National Historic Preservation Act as amended, which provides a broad mandate for SHPOs to undertake statewide preservation planning. The Preservation Act states that, quote, "It shall be the responsibility of the SHPO to prepare and implement a comprehensive statewide historic preservation plan." 2. Regulations, which are the procedures for state, tribal, and local government historic preservation programs. The regulation supports the law and further outlines that the SHPO must, quote, "carry out a historic preservation planning process that includes the development and implementation of a comprehensive statewide historic preservation plan that provides guidance for effective decision-making about historic property preservation throughout the state." 3. And the final product must meet the policy and program requirements found in Chapter 6, Section G of the Historic Preservation Fund Grants Manual. This manual guides much of the work of our office. The manual makes clear the goal is to ensure that significant and meaningful public participation occurs, and the final plan identifies significant issues affecting historic resources, proposes realistic solutions to those issues, and sets priorities for preservation action during the life cycle of the plan. Statewide plans must meet requirements spelled out in the manual in order to be approved by the National Park Service on behalf of the Secretary of the Interior. In order to create this type of plan, collaboration, research, and a broad spectrum of information and knowledge is necessary. The plan is developed and implemented by the SHPO in collaboration with the public. While our office implements many of the plan's recommendations, it contains objectives that are more appropriately carried out by other entities. We kicked off our public engagement, dialogues, and consultation in September of 2019 at the Preserve Minnesota Annual Preservation Conference in St. Cloud, and will close out the year of public conversation in September of 2020 during that same conference to be held in Stillwater. The update is dependent on input from the public, preservation professionals, owners of historic properties, American Indian tribes, federal and state agencies, local governments, academics, nonprofit partners, the general public, and people like you. As you can see, the planning timeline is about 1.5 years long, with one entire year dedicated to public engagement. The online public survey was released in September and will remain open until January 10th, 2020. Additional engagement opportunities will be announced in late summer 2020. Including a draft plan based on public input that will be available for public review and comment. Wondering how your community can participate in the plan? Take the online survey, host a meeting in a box, comment on the draft to be released in summer 2020, follow our webpage for new ways to engage. We hope that you are as excited as we are about this plan, and thank you for your interest in learning more.